Jimmy coming on this team, it changed the life of this team.
Y'all know who he is.
Jimmy buckets.
He's a superstar.
The franchise changing.
Winning's always good. Winning makes chemistry look even better.
Butler back to Curry. He'll fire again. He got another one.
Steph Curry was back on the course at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. His first time playing since he won it all back in 2023. And check this out. Jimmy Buckets made the trip to support his guy. Steph finished 5th this time around at the star-studded event. Let's go from the course to the court. When both Steph and Jimmy were healthy, their squad went an impressive 22-5 to close the regular season, but their run came up short in the Western Conference semis against Minnesota after Steph suffered a hamstring injury in Game 1. And without Curry, the Warriors couldn't quite recover. Their offseason has raised some eyebrows. Golden State is the only team in the NBA that hasn't signed a free agent, hasn't made a trade for a player with NBA experience, and hasn't even re-signed one of their own. GM Mike Dunleavy addressed the uncertainty with our own Katie George at Summer League.
I feel like we have a group going forward that's going to be pretty good, but what do we need to add? I think from that standpoint, we want to look in the front court to add some shooting. We want to add in the back court some defense. I think offensively, guys that can shoot past dribble. So we're always, there's tons of needs. We got some guys we got to figure out, but we got the whole summer to do it.
All right, well, some interesting stuff there from Mike Dunleavy. Bobby, we welcome you back here. What's on the Warriors' to-do list this offseason?
Well, the number one thing, George, is clarity on the future of Jonathan Kuminga here. He is one of the 4 restricted free agents that has not been signed right now. He has an $8 million qualifying offer. That contract is binding, and basically the future of Kuminga is keeping the Warriors in a holding pattern as far as what they can do as far as going out and signing other players right now here. So we're going to certainly keep an eye on Kuminga. The second thing is what Mike Dunleavy Jr. said. There's got to be a patching up the front court here. When you look at the roster right now, they've got Quentin Post, who was on a two-way last year, and they converted. Trace Jackson-Davis. There is a glaring hole at the center position. Draymond Green, of course, played primarily at center a lot last year. And then the third is replacing the glue guys. When you look at Kevon Looney, who is now in New Orleans, Gary Payton II is still unsigned. It's finding those type of players that can kind of do the dirty work. George, they've got 9 players under contract right now. 15 is the max in the NBA. There's certainly work to do in Golden State. The question is going to be, how does the future of Kuminga dictate as far as what are those other parts that are going to be added to this roster?
Great stuff as always, Bobby. Thank you so much. All right, the Warriors over-under win total has been set at 46.5 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. That's right around the 48 win mark that the Warriors had last season. So let's get back with our panel here. Mark, you're as plugged into the Warriors as anyone. What do you expect here over the next several weeks?
Frustration.
Oh, okay. All right. That's one emotion.
Kuminga's situation is complicated, man. They're
it's like a Facebook. Remember when Facebook used to have those status updates and it would say it's complicated? It's like that. I'm dating myself, but
no, I agree with you. His agent met with the Warriors last week. Still no answer. They're trying to figure it out. As Bobby mentioned, it's holding everything else up. What they want to do. And then obviously the one that everybody's worrying about is Al Horford. Like, what's going to happen with Al Horford? You know, Golden State obviously expected him to sign last week. He didn't. Lakers, Milwaukee, Atlanta, I believe, are also interested in the nearly 40-year-old guy who also has retirement on the table.
Right.
He's still considering retiring. He's not in any hurry. He's got a 6th kid coming on the way. He lives in Atlanta and Boston in the offseason. But I'm hearing that whether it's Golden State or, lesser extent if it's the Lakers, like being away from his family that far isn't going to be in that decision. But keep in mind, know who I think is going to be in this decision?
Who?
His 10-year-old son, Ian.
Okay.
He just started traveling with Al on the road like 2 seasons ago. Kid loves basketball. I know he's like, Dad, Steph Curry, Dad. Like, it likely.
All the kids love Steph Curry, man. I know that.
I can see Ian convincing his dad to keep playing.
Tim, let me ask you this.
Shout out to Ian.
What is the market for Kuminga and Horford even at this point?
Well, look, until Al Horford either retires or signs somewhere else, the assumption around the league is that he will end up with the Warriors. I would tell Warriors fans, relax on that one. I think things are going to turn out in your favor there. Kuminga is certainly complicated, but there's not much of a market for him. He would love to go somewhere that values him as a star, that sees him as a focal point for their offense, which clearly Steve Kerr doesn't. Steve Kerr was D&P-CD in this guy during the playoffs. He has said multiple times he doesn't think he's a fit with Steph and with Jimmy Butler when they have both of those guys healthy, which is, that 22-5 lineup. But the simple fact of the matter is this: if there's not a market for Kuminga, there's not some kind of sign and trade situation this summer, then it's probably in both parties' best interest to do some sort of maybe like a smaller version of the Jalen Green deal, a 3-year deal with a player option, that sort of thing. The kind of deal that, quite frankly, is designed to try to be traded as soon as he's eligible on December 15th. Now, if that happens, Steve Kerr, you got to play in the first couple months of the season. You got to showcase the guy if the whole point is you're trying to move him at not even the deadline, the first day he's eligible.
Right, for sure. All right, UD, you've been around a ton of superstars at different points in their careers, but including the tail ends of their careers. So how much pressure do you think is on the Warriors front office to improve this roster?
I mean, I don't know if it's on their front office to improve the roster because of what's going on right now with other teams in the West, but I'll just say with their team particularly, the pressure to improve the roster is you saw your weaknesses like glaringly in the playoffs last year. You saw the lack of size glaringly against Minnesota last year. You saw the lack of athleticism glaringly against Minnesota last year. So when you talk about bringing in Al, I love Al. I would love for him to finish his career with a guy like Steph. He's a guy who's definitely going to space the floor and knock down some threes, but he does not address your needs. He does not address the need of athleticism when you talk about bringing in another guy who's older, and he does not address the need of having size. When you look around the West right now, everybody has size. When you talk about what Houston has with Jabari Smith and that length, KD in that length, bringing in Sengun, still having Sengun, and having Adams come back and bringing in Capella. When you look at what Denver's been able to do, when you look at what OKC's been able to do, when you look at Minnesota and still having Randall and all these guys have length and athleticism. You are not addressing length and athleticism by just bringing in Al. Love Al, but that is not the one that's going to push you over the hump.
It'll be interesting to see, but I will say this. I've been around the Warriors enough, particularly last season when the trade deadline was approaching, and they knew that they felt like they needed to do something to extend Steph's window. So I'm fully, I would fully be surprised if they didn't continue to push the envelope in that 15 years apart. Here's Cooper after the game.
Yeah, I think I've been solid. I think I'm exhausted. I'm not used to bringing them the ball up like that. And, every time I'm getting the ball full court, it has somebody on my hip, playing 94 feet. So definitely not used to that. But I think I did a solid job of, bringing up against pressure and trying to set up our different actions for sure.
So Cooper Flag officially shut down for the rest of Summer League. So UD, how would you evaluate Cooper's first 2 games?
It was exactly what I thought it would be. I think the first game you saw his offense struggle a little bit, but you saw his playmaking, his decision-making was on point. I'm a defensive guy, so I love the fact that he was weak side defense. He was taking his 2-9, which for you people at home mean he was taking his time in the paint when he was on the weak side defense. He shot the gap a couple times, got a couple steals. When he had isolations on guys that were smaller on the weak side, he took advantage of that offensively. And I just love the play that he made when he got downhill and he made the game-winning 3. The second game, you saw him start to settle in offensively. You started to get to his spots. He was aggressive from all three levels. He was hitting pull-up threes when guys went under. He got to his pull-up jumper. He got in the paint. He was aggressive getting in the paint. On the other things, the defense and those different things, he didn't quite feel the stat sheet, but that's what's expected with a young guy when he's trying to put it together. The first game, the offense is not going to be there and every other thing's there. Then the second game, the offense is there and the other things aren't there. He is going to put that together. I am very encouraged by what I've seen from Cooper Flag on both ends of the basketball court.
Well, I was encouraged just because he got better. And I think that's part of what Summer League is. It's that you're supposed to get better from game 1 to 2 and certainly experimenting. And I think what I took away from game 2 is the ability to go left. I think that was a little bit of a concern, certainly when you talk to some scouts after game 1, is something he had to work on. And it felt like he made it a...
Mình sẽ gặp cái phần bên góc này của nó như này. Bước xong thì các bạn sẽ dọn sang phần bên này cho mình này. Tiếp theo bây giờ mình lại tiếp tục lắp cái phần này của nó lên đây. Rồi mình lại gấp cái phần này của nó sang nhé. Rồi các bạn cứ gấp liên tiếp cả 4 cái của nó. Mình sẽ đều gấp chéo nó lên như vậy nhé. Rồi mình đã gấp xong cả 4 góc của nó rồi. Bây giờ các bạn sẽ dỡ các cái phần này ra cho mình. Rồi bây giờ mình sẽ lấy cái tờ giấy màu xanh dương này nhé. Các bạn sẽ quấn nó từ cái phần góc trên này vào. Rồi bây giờ các bạn sẽ quấn nó cho đến hết cái tờ giấy cho mình nhé. Rồi mình sẽ dùng keo để mình gắn cố định cái phần cuối như vậy. Rồi mình sẽ dùng kéo để mình cắt hai cái đầu của nó lên. Bây giờ mình sẽ gắn nó vào đây nhé. Các bạn sẽ giữ một lúc để cho cái phần keo nó không